All right. Ma'at, Anku, Ma'at, Hotep. We here. Now I'm hoping everything. I've been on this all day, getting my social media platforms back on track because I don't think I record anything this whole year. Maybe once, but this is really my first time going through StreamYard and setting up my destinations. So I'm live here. Don't know how long I'll be here, but normally I get to running at the mouth. I'm on here for an hour. But I'm here. Welcome in. As you can see, my banner here is T4, which means test 4. I've been testing all day, just trying to get my audio together, my camera together, my green screen, my green or screensavers together, the volume on my that you're hearing together, just getting things together. So, because I came to the conclusion that I'm going to have to sacrifice some time a day to build fourth dimension spiritual travel, which is my platform. Let me see. Well, let me do this now. Where's it at? Yeah, this is. So you can see on the ticker at the bottom, the Fourth Dimensions Travel. That's my website. Where's my icon? Okay, what I just did. So actually what I'm doing, I'm testing my live. I was debating, do I record it or do I just come on live? So I'm going to come on live. I want to see how it turns out. I did check on Facebook to see if the background music or Facebook was going to allow the background music to play, which it should because it's connected to StreamYard. So I don't really expect anyone to come on board right now because I've been so inconsistent. So the thing is now, that's why I'm here now. As you can see, T4 testing 4, firing it up for the new year. I forgot to put the prisons in there, spring 2024. Now, if any of you guys remember, I think I did come on earlier at the beginning of the year when everyone celebrates New Year's on January 1st. According to nature, that is not the new year. The new year is actually in spring equinox, which will be coming soon. So we're just getting them fired up and getting prepared, of getting things rolling. For those who may not know me, my name is David B, also known as Lied Too Long, as it says right here. Well, it says David W, that's my middle name. I'm going to have to adjust that. I'm also known as Lied Too Long. That is my Instagram handle. That is also my TikTok handle. I normally come on quite regularly on TikTok. I used to come like 3 days a week. Now I'm struggling just to hit 1 day a week. Because I normally would get up early in the mornings and do that, but I work PM. So by the time I shut down and get home and, get through playing with David or being with David, it's 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm not always getting up. But the main reason is because my actual mobile phone has been running hot lately on TikTok. I got to address that. Which forced me to come back to my PC and started coming online. Now, like I said, for those who follow me, Facebook, I got Instagram, I got Facebook, I have my website, I have YouTube. What else? I have X. I'm new with X, aka used to be known as Twitter, or formerly known as Twitter. I have Threads, but right now Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok are my main platforms. Now with TikTok, until I get this phone situation taken care of, it's going to force me to do post reels. It's going to force me to post reels because when I come on live, like I said earlier, it makes my phone extremely hot to where it'll just automatically just kick me out. I feel like you're done. Good night. Let's see. Move this. So I'm just playing around. Getting things back online. Because the goal is also to get this podcast jumping on, which I need to get that done. I would like to, I don't need to do anything, but I would like to have that done. April, at the latest. I just need to understand how deep I want to go into this. I like doing current events as well. A lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of distractions as well going on. But my main thing is with my TikTok, with my other platforms. So let's get into that. Let me share my screen. Let's get into it. Here, share screen. First, let's start with YouTube. Oh, I got some yams over there. Okay. Let's go to studio. So with my YouTube, I'm gonna have two channels. First one is Fourth Dimension Spiritual Travel. As you can see, I need to upload content. I may do that tonight. Start that tonight. Now with YouTube, well, I'm gonna start off with recordings and eventually go live every now and then. Because with YouTube, it's going to be more. So what I'm looking for? It's going to be more of a more grown-up type of conversation than Facebook. Facebook, if we had to go from K to 12 grade, Facebook would be like first or second grade. Because the information that I put out really is not comfortable for some people. Because I'm going to hit you with African spirituality, deconstructing from religious dogma, doctrines, being encouraged to study these religious literatures, Bible, Quran, wherever we may be, in a more esoteric way. Because there are many ways to study and read the Bible, to encourage, when you can find the time, and I know it's hard, but that's how WS has things set up to where it keeps us busy, keeps us on the treadmill, you know, of really not going anywhere. But it looks like we're going somewhere, but at the end of the day, we may find that we haven't gotten anywhere when we start comparing our spirituality versus the third and fourth dimension realm. Because third dimension deals with time and space. Time and space. Fourth dimension has a little bit of time involved, but it's a higher level. That's how I view it. So we get caught up in the illusion of how we view and see the world. So Facebook, I kind of tippy toe. I mean, I've been posting stuff, and I'm gonna hit you with this, I'm gonna hit you with that. But my YouTube channel is going to be a little more in depth. So I have the fourth dimension spiritual travel, and then I will switch this over. I have another one. Switch accounts. Which one? Of the. Gotta be careful now. I have another channel, which is going to be focusing more on current events / spiritual conversations as well. Yeah. So these are two, as you see right now, I have not uploaded anything. In fact, let me go back here. Go back here and see if I can do this. Let's give you an idea of something I did in the past. It's not like only a minute long. How long is this video? Now this one right here, Traveling Free in Our Spirituality. That was a webinar I did about a month or so ago. I'm going to bring that back sometime in the future, but not now. Not too many people really did. Not too many people really liked it. I didn't get any support. But the support I was really looking for was mainly within me, because it took me a long time just to get that thing going. I had to postpone it 3 or 4 times. I was dealing with new employment. I was dealing with new living situations. I was dealing with transportation issues. I was dealing with health issues. I caught COVID in the beginning of this year. Had to deal with that. So it's like, a lot of things were going on. So I'm going to revamp this right here. And I don't even know if it's going to even let me. For the content. Yeah. Now here, give you a little bit of this right here. Let me share this. So what I'm talking here, just for like a quick minute, dealing with cognitive dissonance must be analyzed when preparing to use critical distance on religious, on a religious mindset. So a lot of times I'm gonna post stuff on my platform, and it's gonna attack your form of thinking of what you have been taught when it comes to dealing with religious dogma. So it's gonna make you feel uncomfortable, and that's fine. If it's not for you, it's not for you. That's why I don't put too much stock into Facebook, because most of the people that are on Facebook, you've already set on what you want to, on how you, on your ideology, on your religious stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. If it's making you a better person, do your thing. But when I shoot stuff out there, I put stuff out there as for the public. So I'm reaching out for people who are not basically friends on my Facebook. Now, on this Facebook page, I don't have as many followers like I used to on the one that got hacked. Matter of fact, I was trying to do something with someone who I knew at a church I used to belong with in California, and my account got hacked to where I had to shut it down. So now, like I had like 500 people. Now I may have 100 people on this page. And I'm very particular in who I bring in, because I don't know if it's legit or not, because, you know, Facebook to have so much, I guess, money or make so much money or whatever, they should get hacked a lot. It's just unsafe. So I'm very particular. So on this particular video, I'm talking about so that was only like a minute. I think I was just playing around. Let's see. Where am I? Where am I? I can get lost in here real quick. I get lost in here real quick. Where am I supposed to be? That's my studio. There we go. So, like I said, fourth dimension spiritual travel is dealing with, you know, with more of a spiritual talk type of platform, because I'm into as well. Let me come out of here. So I've showed you fourth dimension spiritual travel. I've also showed you my other YouTube channel. What was it? Lie to _too long, which will be set up for more current events. I want to have that popping in a couple of days. Get those things rolling. Like I said, those are going to be mainly recordings until it builds momentum. So that's what's going on with that. Let me come out of here. Stop sharing. Let me go to my Instagram. Now my Instagram, when I set this up, it's going to be at the same level. See that young man right there? Oh, big head. It's going to be at the same level as YouTube. I just have to learn and find out how far I can go with it. But here, I come with a lot of other information that affects people's cognitive dissonance. In other words, it affects the information that has been planted in our consciousness and subconsciousness on how we view spiritual situations. See what I'm understanding. As you can see, I'm into African spirituality, Kemetic philosophy. Hello, Dak Prescott. I love this music. Trash. Who's that? Kabbalion. So I don't really. So I really don't give Instagram. I don't put too much work into Instagram. I need to grow that. They're not ready yet. Too many are still asleep.
The masses of the people.
Yes.
You understand what I'm saying? Some goals and objectives are supposed to be made clear. And the masses of black people ain't gonna never get nothing. That's what you call romanticism. It's spiritual. So the people that's supposed to get it is here now. Now right now you got family members, man, you can break this thing down mathematically and you all can speak for 10 years. And they still won't get it. They'll still run back to the church. So to drive the point across, we have to speak to the people that we came here for. And I've been successful with that. But we cannot add light to the fact that there's scholarship going on here. You understand what I'm saying? There's scholarship going on here. Now make no damn bones about it. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. You see, you can walk up here at the end of the lecture and you can write down a whole bunch of stuff. Now that puts it beyond just the tape. That means I've given you something that you can turn to the back of the book and you can get even further research after you've gone through that.
Yes.
That takes it out of my hand and I have given you something. You understand what I'm saying? I'm giving. So this is not a battle of no preachers.
Yeah.
So that was Bobby Hemmett. So just, I love sharing information when it starts dealing with awakening our minds, our mindset to our original spirituality. So it's going to affect your cognitive dissonance. It's going to affect your thinking. It's going to make you feel guilt. It's going to make you feel like I'm the devil. Because I'm going to bring you information for most of you guys that you never heard of. You know, I never heard of it. While I was practicing Christianity, I never heard of these teachings. It was never taught in the church. I never knew that there was an esoteric teaching involved. So when things didn't add up right for me, I'm thinking something's wrong with me.
Waste not anything good Wednesday. Everything that is good for your soul, for your spirit, for your body, waste not. Waste not.
In other words, if you're anything like me, I have to learn how to love myself more, where I'm more appreciative or have more gratitude on the things that the Creator or the Nature or the All or the Supreme, or for a lot of you guys, God has given. That's why this is when I was dealing with my webinar, the Fourth Dimension Spiritual Travel presents traveling freely in your spirituality while deconstructing from religious dogma, because it's just it can be another form of captivity if we're not understanding how to connect with the kingdom of God, if you will, or the kingdom of the mighty nature, if you will, that is residing within all of us.
Enjoy it. Analyze it. Claim it. Decide. Believe. See it. Feel it. Because it's Waste Not Anything Wednesday. By the way, my name is David, aka Lied Too Long. You are at Fourth Dimension Spiritual Travel. So, this is who I am. Welcome when you come in. Please like the live. Please share the live. Hold on.
Pause that, because that may affect the music. Facebook might not allow that. I do not own the copyright to the music. Let me come out of here. Then we can also, have discussions of these right here. Thy rod and thy staff shall comfort me. Thy rod and staff shall comfort me. We hear that a lot in the Psalms. Was it Psalms 23? Not understanding these have ancient African spirituality concepts. Come on, get some back in. So YouTube, Instagram is going to hit heavy. or it's going to hit heavier than what I put on Facebook. TikTok is going to hit heavy or heavier. Or equal to YouTube, either fourth dimensions travel, fourth dimensions travel. I'm getting tired. Lied too long. Platform on YouTube, or the lied too long on Instagram. So lied too long is connected with lied to _ too long connected with TikTok. It's connected with Instagram. It's connected with one of my YouTube channels. Facebook, it's just easier access. I can throw stuff on there and keep it pushing. Now, let me go back to share again. Where'd it go? Now, here is my website. It's new. Needs a lot of work done to it. The podcast will help this to grow as well. So it's like if you type in fourth dimension spiritual travel, it's going to click in fourth dimensions travel, because when I set it up, there's just a little confusion here. But this is my website. Because some people, especially if you're on Facebook, who may have known me from back in California, you may be saying, well, how did you even get on this path? Because you was on this path over here, using Christianity. Now you're over here talking about some stuff that we have been taught that is demonic, or could be demonic. So as you see right here, how it all started. It wasn't until I discovered the power of self-honesty and embarked on a journey of spiritual awakening that real transformation took place for me, right? Breaking free from addiction or substance abuse and finding a path of sobriety. I returned to Christian ministry only to feel the weight of judgment and the constant pressure to conform. To conform, what do you mean by conform? To conform of the normalcy that comes along with it, that you feel when you start deconstructing from these dogmatic thoughts. You're going to be viewed as there's something wrong with you. But the truth of the matter is, there's nothing wrong with you. You just have been placed into a dimension that is not fitting with the dimension that we're in. So it says, let me go back, let's return to Christian ministry, only to feel the weight of judgment and a constant pressure to conform. This led to a decision to step away and embark on a new path, exploring the profound teachings of Kemetic science or Kemetic philosophy. Kemetic science, Kemetic philosophy It's what we have been taught not to do. But the history foundation starts from Kemetic, Aquivalon, or Africa spirituality. And that's just a fact. But we won't know it's a fact because we're under the persuasion that if you look in that direction, it's not of God. Here you see I have the different sign: Christianity, the yin and yang, Judaism, the Ankh, Kemetic science, Islam. I have type of service I will be building, esoteric versus exoteric teachings from the Holy Bible. Exoteric is basically what most of us get on Sunday mornings or whatever day you go to church. Or when you go to Wednesday night or Thursday night or Friday night Bible study. The X, okay, the literal, the black and white version or the reading of face value of the scriptures. Not every scripture in the Bible, and I'm pretty sure it's with the Quran, and I know it's pretty sure with the Torah and all that, is not, it's not, it's not to be read at face value. Let me see if I can add this on. Hold on. Also dealing with oracle readings to unlock your intuition and inner wisdom. Reiki, astrotheology. Even inside the Bible, you will be surprised how much astrology is in the Bible. Especially, in the Bible. I was going to say especially in the New Testament. I'm just going to say in the Bible. Because the Bible, it is consistent. There is some history there. There is some mythology there. There's numerology in there. There's astrology in there. It's a lot of messages in there. But you're not going to get that. You're not going to find those. You're not going to be exposed to those on your regular service. Because if you do, you're going to find yourself pulling away socially. And then while we're pulling away socially, you're going to be demonized as well. So I will have service. Not only just that, I'm huge on this. Alcohol, substance abuse counseling. I'm huge on this. This is really my forte as far as having that spiritual insight of dealing with the demonic forces of alcohol and drug abuse. Like I said, I do astro oracle card readings. See, all of this is like it's like it has been forbidden. Then you have my bio here, contact service. This is my website. This is what I'm building. So, like I said, I just came on here, man. Like you said, I'm just rounding up, getting ready for the new spring year. The new year starts when Mother Nature tells us when the new, like lately here in Texas, it's been hot, it's been warm. It seems like spring right now, but this is Texas. Next week, it may be snowing right now. I mean, but it's acting like it's acting like it's spring right now. I think it's like 84 degrees right now. We understand winter's not over. But that's when the new year starts. That's why I was saying earlier, like when we make our resolutions in January, or what we're going to do different, give yourself some time to implement that, at least until spring, so that when spring comes, you have a stronger mindset, a stronger determination. As you can see on my green screen, on my screensaver, whatever they call it, whatever they call it, I get it confused all the time. We're looking at the Eye of Horus, or the Eye of Haru, which is basically the foundation of the religious principles and practices that are they have been taken, they have been hijacked, they have been reconstructed, repackaged, sent out. So, I mean, there's a lot of work to do. Hold on. Let's see if I can change this. So right here, which a lot of times you'll see me on Facebook, I'll post something dealing with my eyes. My life, which deals with justice, deals with violence, righteousness, truth. It is the prototype. It is way before all the three major religions. Thousands of years. Thousands of years. As you see, she has the scale of the heart. She has the scale of the feather. The traditional mythology is that when we transition and when we are judged by a star, if you will, it's mythology now, that our actions, our heart, our actions that we use, our heart must be lighter, our actions must be lighter than a feather. One of my favorite scriptures when I was growing up as a child, I didn't know, but I would read it on the, back in the day, we used to eat dinner at the dinner table at a certain time, and everybody was in the house ate at the same time. And we would have table mats that we put on our food on our paycheck. And one of the table mats I had, the scriptures I love, blessed are, I don't remember the address, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. So even back then, dealing with ancient Egyptian philosophy, just Kemetic philosophy, science, is the importance of how pure is your heart. Only with a pure heart or with a pure mind will we be able to see the Creator. That's what it says. So I've been on here 47 minutes and 20-some seconds. I think I've been on here long enough. Still have some things to do. Need some real posts together. I need to put something on YouTube. I need to do it all today because tomorrow I gotta get back into the streets. But as you see at the bottom, you're going to see all my particular lines, what this, website address, my email address, you can contact me. I need to get to practice checking that out more. It's not my main one. I have my Cash App. I have all of that. But my goal is, my ministry is, set the minds of our people free. For those who are willing to be free. So the discipline is to at least check in and have Sunday to myself as far as building, making it, if you will, a Sabbath day, if you will. Take it literally, but definitely want to put some reverence. I want to put some reverence behind it. So, and I'm gonna tell you, man, this is it talks about in the Bible. It says that I want to go there. No, I don't want to do that. I'll be here in another 30 minutes. I'll be here enough for them. Stretch. But if you get some time, check out the movie The Book of Clarence. That was a pretty good movie. You know, quite interesting. There was one phrase it had in there that he said that knowledge is more. What he said, knowledge is more. Knowledge is better than belief. And like I said earlier, you know, there's a lot of astrology messages, and especially in the Bible. And I'm pretty sure in the Quran as well. I didn't study the Quran, so I'm not that familiar with it. But you know, I'm pretty sure it's there as well. That you know, astrology plays a big part. I mean, you know, they talk about, you know, we're in the sign of Aquarius. You know, where now knowledge is important. We need to know. People need to know. This is not going to go about we just believe. Nah, because you know we've been believing for a while, and the world is getting worse. Well, it's a sign of time. That means Jesus is coming back. Like, you know, what's the problem? What's taking so long? What are we waiting on? We're gonna make sure everyone's heart is pure. We have to get everyone saved. But isn't it funny how us who claim to be saved find ourselves in so much trouble? We find ourselves justifying so many actions. I showed a video on my Facebook of the drug usage of fentanyl in Skid Row, Los Angeles. I've been there. I can imagine. When I went through it was in the 90s. So I can imagine in 2024, it is off the chain. A very, very dangerous place. There's help there. There's a lot of religious organizations, and probably now with the new, the new age mindset, a lot of LGBT support. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's, you know, that place, if you come across it, definitely like it and share it. That people who have been crossed out, who have got caught up in drug addiction, alcoholism, loss of employment, it's just, you know, all these religious avenues it only makes a small dent of what's going on in that area. And people gonna say, well, that's because people just want to be the way. I know people they just don't. That's just the way they want to live. Is that the truth? Or is it just a way for us to feel better about ourselves? Well, I mean, I pulled myself up from the bootstrap, but they can do the same thing too. So yeah, I want to, so I definitely want to have discussions like that on my other YouTube channels and platforms and stuff, because we have to look at the beginning. When we come into this world, we are already considered captives. We have to deal with white supremacy. I mean, when we come into the world, we're already in a system that we have to navigate through. And a lot of us just don't make it. So definitely want to be dealing with that on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. It's about building. Getting away. What kind of distractions is in your life? A lot of things. We have a lot of distractions in our lives that we are allowed to continue to distract us. We be trying to hold on to this third dimension, but at the same time, we're seeking the fifth dimension, if you will. And that going back and forth can really cause I think it can cause, it can cause some form of mental illness. To survive in this third dimension, you have to be mentally ill in some form of fashion. It all depends. What are you on? Are you on cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? Or are you on Fruit Loops? Or are you eating tricks? We're all majorities are one check away from surviving. We're all miss one check, and it's like we're a half a block away from being extinct. Kids go to school, getting shot up, think about other students. Race soldiers, politicians are just selling us out. We got this Biden, we got the presidential election coming up. See, I had mentioned a long time ago when Biden came in office, the people said, well, we don't want to get Trump because Trump is racist. They're all racist. We need to understand that all of them are racist. In other words, they're going to protect their bottom line. They're going to keep white supremacy, and unfortunately, we have a lot of black folks that's tap dancing with this, of agreeing with this white supremacy. That is a system that has everyone who is non-white fighting against each other. Can't go too deep on Facebook. We don't want to talk about that. Am I saying that all white people are bad? Of course not. I'm talking about the system. Check out Neely, what's his name? Neely Fuller Jr. I think he's about 90 years old now. He's been talking about WS for a long time. How it affects melanated people to where we keep self-destructing our own culture because we don't understand that we are in a system of WS. And he talks about until you understand WS, everything that you're a part of or that you think you know is only going to confuse you. We are confused. I had someone I think on Instagram, I tried to put on there that, we've been destroyed as a people. Information is coming out, knowledge is coming out to where now the knowledge is so powerful to where, people are saying, oh, that's pseudo. No, that's pseudo. That's that new stuff. That don't count. Show your receipts. Show your sources. When all along, receipts and sources have been hidden all the time. And here we are 60 years later after the civil rights movement. Affirmative action has been killed. What's affirmative action? But it helped melanated people, but it also helped a lot of non-melanated people too. Most of our powerful leaders have been killed, have been murdered. So yeah, man. Yep. But we're going to have fun. In the meantime, we're doing all this stuff at the same time. I mean, just going to gravitate. Who gravitates? You guys are my thing. That's what I have to do. I have to be consistent. We have to be consistent. We have to stand, a lot of people can't worry about the naysayers, who's going to accept, who's not going to accept. We just have to be consistent. We have to keep pushing. We have to look at the next generation. My generation, maybe the generation right behind me, we may be done. It's all good. What about the generation after that? The great grandbabies. When you're long gone, how they gonna be holding up? They're setting it up right now. You got all these people, they're sending all these migrants over there that haven't been vetted. We don't know these cats from starting all these crimes. They're coming in doing all these crimes, shootings. This crime that your politicians accept. So like I said earlier, now we got this election coming up, and it's like, I'm just want to see, are you going to fall for it again? A lot of blacks are not voting. Let's go here. We're always talking about, repenting and all that stuff. So when is America going to repent for the sins against us? Everybody else getting paid. Well, we can't pay y'all because y'all is going to waste some money. And now you're concerned about wasting the money. When we spend so much money on other things we pay for it. That's it. Hey, what's up? I said, yeah. That's a bunch of bullshit. Talk about China taking over. Actually, America is moving into China in a cult fashion. What's going on with this canal up there on top of Egypt? Why is Africa still so colonized? So we have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to be aware of. Hey, Doctor, that's that. Coming through. That photos of our ancestors popping through on my screen, on my TV. We got a lot to talk about. But the other stuff, to be honest with you, it looks like it ain't working. So you need people like this. Kind of like, Scarface, when he finds all toe up in the restaurant with his wife, who was all coked out and everything. And he was like, showing out, and the people around him, Tony Montana, he was effed up. About, you need bad guys like me. Look at that bad guy. You need bad guys like me. Because you're too afraid. You're too afraid. You need people like me. Because you're afraid. You're afraid. When it even says in your own lineage that the kingdom is within. Man, here we go. I'm here now. Ain't nobody coming on anyway. Probably won't nobody watch this. Somebody gonna watch it. This is gonna be on. It's gonna be in timeline. Hold on. Here we go. Starting to film something. Where we at? Let me go to the gateway. I'm gonna look up something. I came across something. You know what? Hold on. I'm gonna come out of that. Let me see if I can find this. Let me see if I can find what I was watching on earlier today. This one. See if I can find it. Hold on. Go here. Share screen. Let's go to YouTube. Which one I want? Let's go here. No. Share screen. Let's go to YouTube. Share screen. What kind am I on? What kind am I on? Who is this? Who is this? Let's go Neely Fuller right here. I was talking about earlier, Neely Fuller. Who is it? The Black Authority. And on my YouTube, I'll be into all kinds of stuff. I watch them all. Let's see. Which one is this? Ain't nothing like the Black system. Hold on. Where we at? Here. I'll find it. Let's see. YouTube. go to the library. Where am I at? Okay, let's go to this. Find it. Hold on. Where are we at? History in my library. That's the right one. Hold on. It's working with the child. Here. This sister right here is pretty cool too. I'm kind of digging in her a little bit. TD Jakes in the hot seat. Oh man. Oh yeah. This sister's cool too right here. Dr. Moonby. I check her out every now and then. But what I'm looking for, hold on. What am I looking for? I'm looking for what I was watching earlier today. And I'm having a hard time finding it. For history. Okay. Let's go where are we at? Alright, let's go. Live. What are you? What are you? What are you? That's crazy. Go back here. Here it is.
Who did not, the Sumerian kingdom had those.
So this guy right here, this is called smashing the 10 Commandments. You see, I've only gotten like an hour and 8 minutes. It was long. But I'm gonna come back to, I'm gonna share this a little bit. Quite interesting. Quite interesting. I think right here. I'm gonna share something. I'm talking about the author of the Bible. Because I've also came across information that no one in the Bible really existed, but that's not true. There are some historical people that are in the Bible. But then there's a lot of non-historical people in the Bible as well. So he talks about Moses. Hold on. Let me go back. Yeah, I should put this on YouTube too. I found this very interesting. See? I found this very interesting to research. But whatever information you come across, the goal is, okay, research it. I don't have time to be doing all that. I know. Shit, I don't either. That's what makes it so hard. This is, hold on, let me see.
Biblical writers, which is to say prophets whose writings extend into, or who at least were historical figures in the First Temple period, and some components of their text, while they may have been added to and edited over the course of the later time periods, there's some of those texts presumably date back to that earliest period. In those, the Exodus story was known pretty early on, and we also have mentions of Moses. So the earliest mention would not turn toward this people. So
I'm trying to find.
very common suffix
Okay.
in Egyptian names. And so here Moses is loves to use puns in order to create folk etymologies in order to explain names. And so this phrase, I drew him out of the water, takes the Hebrew.
Because we were taught now, this is stuff to research, right? So you don't have to accept this at face value, it's like, okay, well, let me take a look at this. But we were taught in the church that Moses' name means he was drew out of the water. But he's going to say, well, that may not be really true. That's all he's saying. Now, right here, you've already made up your mind, oh man, I ain't listening to that bullshit. And there's the problem. There is the problem. But you need bad guys like me. You need bad guys like me. Because you're too afraid. You're too afraid to be what you want to be. Or to see what you want to see. Antonio Montana. Here we go.
Meshithihu, to create the false folk etymology for Moses. But nevertheless, that is almost certainly, it's certainly not what the real etymology of Moses is. That's just a pun. In other words, Moses sounds like Meshithihu, right? So Moshe. And so that's a folk etymology like people continue to make even to this day. Like the word her story is a folk etymology that thinks that.
So once again, he's saying, okay, the Hebrew author of Exodus teaches, and so does the rest of the religious community, teaches that the name Moses actually means, the reason why Pharaoh's daughter named child Moses, because she drew him out of the water. That is what's being taught. That is what's being taught today. He's saying, that may not be true.
His story, because it sounds like his, it means his story, when in fact it's coming from a word that's totally unrelated to that, then to the pronoun his. So Moses, or the Egyptian word Mosa, which means son of.
So when we talk about Egyptian, we have to understand, because we're still dealing with WS. Like those Egyptians that are over in Egypt right now is not the same people. They're going to say they are. This is where the fight comes of reclaiming our heritage. Even if we're not even from that area, we know that everything started from Africa. And we ventured out. We've been here a long time. And the truth has been hidden for a long, long, long time. If we keep everybody busy, I'm trying to chase the bag, and we need to survive. We're not going to understand. We're going to keep following the lie. That's what we need. And I can relate to that. That's why I have the moniker, I guess, with the name of Lie Too Long, because I experienced some of that just in my 60 years of living. Here we're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands of years.
Is a very common suffix in Egyptian names. And so here,
We back it up.
loves to use puns in order to create folk etymologies in order to explain names.
Back it up.
And so, these great prophets of old.
And it's like, I'm gonna post this on here, and if this my video, if this is too long, or if this is not grabbing your interest, or this is a bunch of bullshit to you, you're the problem. I hate to say it. That you won't even take a look because. But facts, Scott, man, I got so many books. Man, I need to be doing some reading. I got so many books. I can't keep up with them. But you need bad guys like me. You need bad guys like me.
Old, as far as Jeremiah is concerned, Moses and Samuel would have been standing there too. So he is obviously idolizing those prophets and knows Moses as a great
backed it up a
prophet.
little bit.
According to the book of Exodus, the Israelites are enslaved in Egypt, and because Pharaoh fears that their numbers are too great, he orders all of the Hebrew midwives to kill the newborn boys by tossing them into the Nile. Moses' mother puts a tricky spin on this and puts the baby Moses into a basket, which then floats on the river until he is discovered and then ultimately adopted by Pharaoh's daughter. And Pharaoh's daughter, we read in Exodus 2:10, named him Moses because, she said, I drew him out of the water. So this is a normal convention in the Torah, and it's specifically a sign of the Yahwist author, the J author, and we'll talk about the different source texts of the Pentateuch, the books of Moses.
Remember that, the different source texts.
But essentially the J author loves to use puns in order to create folk etymologies in order to explain names. And so this phrase, I drew him out of the water, takes the Hebrew Meshithihu to create the false folk etymology for Moses. But nevertheless, that is almost certainly, it's certainly not what the real etymology of Moses is. That's just a pun. In other words, Moses sounds like Meshithihu, right? So Moshe. And so that's a folk etymology like people continue to make even to this day. Like the word her story is a folk etymology that thinks that his story, because it sounds like his, means his story, when in fact it's coming from a word that's totally unrelated to that. Then to the pronoun his. So Mosa, or the Egyptian word Mosa, which means son of, is a very common suffix in Egyptian names. And so here Moses is being raised, according to the Exodus story, in Egypt, and is part of this taking the Israelites out of Egypt story. So if there is a real Egyptian connection, the fact that Mosa is a common Egyptian name particle is interesting. If it's a coincidence, it's quite a coincidence. It could be, though. So, for example, theophoric names where we're including a god name, a name of a god. So, for example, Thutmose, which is the name of a pharaoh. Thutmose means son of Thoth, one of the main Egyptian gods. And then a famous pharaoh like Ramesses, it means, in part, it means son of Ra, so the sun god. So Moses, like Thutmose or Ramoses, like that, Mosa might just be a Egyptian theophoric name where the god name here is missing, or it's been abbreviated. So Moses would have a longer name, whatever the god's name here is, and then the name of God is deleted, and you just have Moses. On the other hand, some ancient linguists, and I am not an ancient linguist, I'm not a scholar of Egyptian or Hebrew, it's not clear that Mosa in ancient Egyptian sounded sufficiently like Moshe in ancient Hebrew to actually conclusively argue for an Egyptian origin of the name. So it's not entirely clear what the origin is, but there's this interesting connection to Egyptian.
So he's saying, I'm not a scholar. This is information that can be researched. I'm not a scholar. This is information that could be researched. Now, there's some parts truth in it, because we go back to the actual Bible. It said that the Pharaoh's daughter named Moses. Or gave Moses his name. So my thinking, I can tie that in and say, okay, so the name, this is Pharaoh's daughter, that's not going to be Hebrew. She's going to give a Kemetic name. Why would a daughter of Pharaoh give a Hebrew name? When she's not, I'm on stuff like this, I'm so sorry, Hebrew. And as you see this picture here, this is why we're still dealing with WS, because the people in that area, they were not walking around looking like that. That's another fight. That's another fight. That's another fight that affects our royalty.
So let's look at this story and think about this story. So here's the daughter, kind of a romantic painting, more modern painting, a daughter of Pharaoh, and the little baby Moses that is has been found in his basket. This story of the baby putting upon its water, being put upon a water in a basket to save its life is perhaps too good an origin story not to reuse. And certainly it's not original to Moses. In fact, Sargon the Great himself, the king of Akkad, king of Mesopotamia, of Iraq, who ruled in the 23rd century BCE, in other words, more than 1,600 years before the Exodus story is written, he explains his rise from humble origins. He says, "My mother, the high priestess, conceived. In secret, she bore me. She sent me in a basket of rushes with bitumen. She sealed my lid. She cast me into the river which rose over me." So Sargon was also has a origin story of being found in put on a basket and found in a basket in order to be raised and become his rise ultimately to being the great king.
So, basically, all you're saying is that this story has been told before. That the story of Moses has been told before. All right. You need bad guys like me. You need bad guys like me.
So where does the 2200 BC in the Simpsons episode come from? So as we look at all of the imagery in the little Simpsons clip, everything is frame for frame copying Cecil B. DeMille's 1953 classic, The Ten Commandments, with Charlton Heston as Moses. and Yul Brynner as the Pharaoh. Yul Brynner is playing
How many of us remember that movie? That movie, I know as a child for myself, was monumental. I remember watching that movie at 1710 5th Street with my mom, Eleanor, on Easter weekend, whatever it was, I'd be in church all day, and we watched the Ten Commandments, man. I took that stuff literally. I'm like, wow, look at God. Just to find out 50 years later that there's really no historical record of any of this. I have to research.
Ramesses II, Ramesses the Great, one of the most famous.
Talk about Ramesses. Ramesses was a pharaoh, which you saw earlier that it meant son of Ra. You know that Ra was considered the sun god because the sun was actually the most powerful element that could hold the savior or deity form. I may be a little off on that, but that's where I'm at. Until to this day, everything has been. It's like we find out that stories have been reused and reused to where we may consider, or you may want to look, okay, well, it's a son of God. Is it S-O-N? Was it first the S-U-N? Well, son of Ra, Haru, the son of Ra, the son of God. And speaking of that, I want to look into it as well when we talk about Abraham and Sarah. Remember Abraham? They had to leave their land, whatever, because the family ended up going to Egypt. And when they got to Egypt and got in front of the Pharaoh or whatever, the magistrate or whatever, people, he told Sarah, hey man, tell these cats I'm your brother. Because you're so fine, I'm paraphrasing, that they will kill me to have you. So he's right there. You know, I'm just thinking, the Egyptians or the Kemites, the ancient Egyptians, the Kemites, were considered ruthless. But I'm going into your land because when you got there's no famine where you at. So Pharaoh sees Sarah and says, hey baby, come chill with me. Right? Because Abraham feared his life that the Kemites or the ancient Egyptians, or in your Bible, the Egyptians would kill Abraham to have Sarah. Stay with me. I'm just thinking. But when Pharaoh, whoever the Pharaoh was, realized through some type of, I forgot how the story went, type of vision, hey, she ain't who she says she is. And he goes back to Abraham and he asks Abraham, why did you lie to me? And if I believe the story right, Abraham said, because I feared you would take my life. Now, if they were so ruthless, he could have made the choice, okay, if that's the case, I'm about to take you out right now. So I can have him. They didn't do that because at that time you have to understand, which needs to be researched as well on my part. I'm just putting it out there because I'm a little ahead of the game. They were under the law of Ma'at. And pharaohs weren't like the people we have running our government today. They weren't crooked. Like, I mean, of course there were some. Majority of them, not just anyone that became a pharaoh. You had to go through some schooling. We even talked about when Moses was living up under the pharaoh's house. He had to go into the school of mysteries for 40 years. Then he did 40 years and with Jethro or Raul, which is another name for Jethro. And then he did another 40 years of being in the wilderness. So in other words, not just any old body, not just anybody can be a pharaoh, but they were considered a deity, a god to the people. Look at Yul Brynner, how he's standing. I'm just saying. What are you saying? I'm saying that, look how, here we go. The Bible demonized, melanated, or demonized the Semites in order to glorify the Exodus. Oh man. Not only that, as they were so demonic, when Abraham left, he came out of Egypt richer than when he went in. Demonic people don't do that.
Egyptian pharaohs, the pharaoh for whom the poem Ozymandias is named. So Ozymandias is a Greek version of the name Ramesses. Look on me, my works, ye mighty, and despair. So the Ten Commandments, the movie in 1956, is set during the reigns of Seti I and then Ramses II. So Ramses II, we know from, not from the Bible, but from Egyptian records, ruled from about 1279 to 1213 BC, before the Common Era.
So Seti I is an actual historical person that ruled Kemet.
And so then the Exodus story is set at the end of his reign, and so this is how the Simpsons authors did the math in order to decide that that period at the Exodus at Mount Sinai is taking place around 1220, if this is to be believed. Unfortunately, this gets us to one of the central anachronisms for the Exodus if it had been a historical story. Although it is written in an era when Canaan, when Israel and Judah and the surrounding areas were or had recently been independent of Egypt and independent before being conquered by Assyria and Babylon. The Exodus story is actually set, if we go to the 13th century BCE, that's set in an era when Egypt ruled Canaan directly. So Ramesses, in addition to being one of the great pharaohs of all time, he's also leading Egypt when it has a more extensive control and empire and is dealing directly with the Hittites and has a essentially imperial colonial possession over Canaan and Philistia and Phoenicia. It's not Philistia yet, so Canaan in this time period. So Moses would not actually have been leading anybody to freedom from Egyptian control if he left from Egypt proper, wandered around Sinai and in the desert for 40 years, and then came back out, and they ended up in Canaan. They just find themselves still within the Egyptian empire, since at this time period, the time period when the Exodus is set, Egypt actually continues to rule that territory. So Exodus could not have occurred at the time it's set, and that's just one of many anachronisms in the story, which leads.
So in other words, he's saying that even if they had exited, the story is true, and they had you can research and check out, right? And they're saying this is what it is. This stuff like, that if they would have exited Egypt, the place where they went to was still controlled by Egypt. Let's do a little bit more. What's this like?
5 books of Moses are also known as the Torah or law, and they likely came together in their current form early on into the Second Temple period, maybe under Ezra, who was a Jewish priest and a scribe who was appointed to serve as provincial administrator of Jerusalem during the Persian period, when Jerusalem is a Persian province.
So I also want to research, okay, because I've heard other people say that no one existed, anyone in the Bible is not real. But now I need to research, okay, it's Ezra, Hosea, these minor prophets, did they actually exist? And if they actually exist, what time period did they exist? And how much influence did they have in writing or assisting in writing the Pentateuch? Find that interesting.
So in the middle of the 5th century before the Common Era. So although attributed to Moses,
interesting right here. Now they're getting ready to break off the sources that wrote the Pentateuch. They're saying it wasn't Moses. Couldn't have been. Because according to the timeline, Moses was gone. I'm doing this last section here, and I'm gonna come out of here. But this is interesting. Something else to research. And to be honest with you, it just makes more sense.
The texts post-date the time when Moses would have lived by many, many centuries. So at the earliest, they're really being written. Some of the source texts may be right around the time of Jeremiah, which is to say right before the end of the First Temple period. But actually, lots of scholars actually argue for a much later date, so into the exile and Second Temple period. So
he's saying it's a good possibility. I'm going to go there. But he could be wrong. I don't know. He could be right. I don't know. It's up to me to look into this. But the Pentateuch, at least they weren't written until around Jeremiah's time. Some scholars say even later than that.
With pre-biblical fragments, there are a number of distinct voices within the Pentateuch And so these have been identified by scholars for the last 2 centuries as the J, E, P, and D sources.
For the last 2 centuries, the last 200 years. Is that what it said? I'm sure I heard that right. 2015. Okay.
Voices within the Pentateuch. And so these have been identified by scholars for the last 2 centuries as the J, E, P, and D sources. The J is the Yahwist, the E is the Elohist, P, the priestly source, and D, the Deuteronomist. And so the Deuteronomist is the author of Deuteronomy, which is kind of a...
Who are these people? I've never heard this before. I've heard of the book of Deuteronomy, though.
It's a distinct book out of the Torah, and that text is associated with the next books of the Bible, the Deuteronomistic histories, Joshua, Judges, Samuel, and Kings. So those are all sort of hanging together and part of a school that has a lot of themes in common with Jeremiah. The priestly source is the long, boring part where it's just this ongoing, unending description
like Numbers,
of rituals and vessels and all of these things. It's written by priests associated with the temple in Jerusalem and just obsessed with its rituals and its all of its vessels and how it should all be arranged and everything like that. The priestly source is written also by or on behalf of someone who considers himself to be a descendant of Aaron. So the priests of Jerusalem are the Aaronid priests, the priests who are descended from Aaron's great-great-grandson and so forth under David, Zadok, eventually becoming the Zadokites, the Sadducees. And so then the Yahwist and Elohist sources are different. They are seemingly not written by priests the way the priestly source of the Deuteronomist is, and instead seem to be maybe court literature, with the Yahwist reflecting folk imagery of the southern kingdom, of the kingdom of Judah, and the Elohist reflecting some of the folk heroes and geography and values of the northern kingdom. And so they're named for the use of how they use the name of God, with the Yahwist from the very beginning calling God by God's name, Yahweh or Jehovah, which is why it's called the J source, Jehovist, Yahwist. And then the Elohist, whose hero is Moses. God does not reveal that name in the story at all until we get to Sinai, where God talks to Moses and Moses says, what shall I call you? What's your name? Everyone won't believe that I talked to you unless you tell. And then the name Yahweh is revealed to Moses. So one of the ways that these different texts are divided is that they even in English translation, they have very, very different tones and very different types of words that they use. And so...
yeah, that's part of the problem. I mean, if you're interested, if this catches your attention, this video is called Smashing the 10 Commandments. And understand now that as you go into more Afrocentric studies, we find out that the 10 Commandments are actually laws that came from the 42 laws of Ma'at. ancient Kemetic philosophy, which Ma'at represents justice, balance, righteousness. There's another I can't think of right now. Reciprocity. This is a code. There's a law that ancients I'm gonna say Africans followed. We didn't need no. We didn't need no 10 Commandments. We already had it. That's my understanding that even though we know about the 42 laws of Ma'at, according to Dr. Ray Hagan, he said there's actually 147 laws. I had to dig into that. Ray Hagan's pretty knowledgeable. But just like in the Torah, in the Pentateuch, whatever it is, you know there's 10 commandments. There are actually 613 or 18 laws. All wrapped up. So then he talks about, later on, where, Moses goes up, comes back with the tablets, children of Israel, Aaron, and then they made a golden calf or a symbol, an image of Hathor, which represents, I believe, a set. Moses gets mad, throws the tablets to the ground, breaks them up, and destroys the golden calf. And then God said, I need you to come back up here, bro. But this time, when you come back up here this mountain and talk to me, make sure you cut you some stone tablets out so I can ride them over again. So the actual commandments, if you will, start again, I believe, in either Deuteronomy, I think they're Deuteronomy 34 or something like that. It's in here, if you're interested. Now, like I said, you can't take this dude on face value. I do some research. But it ain't no different than taking things on face value when you go to your regular Bible study. Or even if you do go to your regular Bible study, some of us, so let me take some notes so I can look at this. If you look at it in that exoteric way, you're going to come to the truth of it. If you come into the esoteric way, I'd like to find out right now. I think there's more than meets the eye. I'm out here, man. I'm in here too long. And I don't even know if Facebook even kept me going. That is great information. Hey. You ain't got time. You don't have time for that, right? Because then that will once again stir up the cognitive dissonance and it'll have you feeling jacked up. Let me say something. I people say stuff about Tariq Nasheed. Tariq Nasheed came out from Hidden Colors documentary. And that first one, that was given to me from my brother, from mine, VIP, Vibrating Power, Transition. A while back, I don't even remember when, in a minute, in 2018, 19. He gave me that DVD. He said, man, because he saw I was on this path. I wasn't even clear I was on this path. I just knew I was starting to deconstruct from all the religious rituals. It's not fun. Sobriety. I was new in my sobriety. And at my time, my brother, I didn't know he was struggling with his sobriety to the point to where I released the possibility could have took him out. But he said, man, I'm gonna give you this. I think you can do something with this. Is man. Could be almost 20 years ago. I don't know, I don't remember. And that information sparked my interest. Like, whoa. It sparked my interest. And it set me on a path, and I came across hanging, and I came across some other stuff, and I've been rolling ever since. And I haven't even really scratched the surface. I just know we've been lied to too long. So once again, man, you see my email address, dimensionstravel43@gmail.com. Holler at me, my cash app, $Tuhiti63. My website, www.dimensionstravel, Fourth Dimensions Travel. I definitely, could use the support because I'm gonna start digging. More resources. My regular 9 to 5, I'm really putting that exact in a particular category, 9 to 5. All my overtime, all the other stuff. I'm gonna do some extra stuff. I'm gonna do a side hustle as well, keep things rolling. But I have to make more time to help free our mindset. So whatever, to help deconstruct. And deconstruct, check it out. And we can deconstruct the religious dogma and reconstruct to wherever, how it fits for you. It talks about you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set or make you free. But there is a price that must be paid, that will be paid. You'd be almost like a book of Eli. You'd be just traveling as a warrior. There's very few around you. So man, I've been on here 2 hours, man. I didn't even mean to go here that long, but it always happens. I hope, that, you guys check this out. It's 2 hours. It's just 2 hours. That's all. Yeah, if not, I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna upload this bad boy to YouTube and wherever else I can, and just take it from there. I won't be doing it with 9:25. I won't be doing no reels tonight. But I gotta jump on that. If I got tomorrow, I gotta hit the street and make some money. So once again, my aunt, basically saying that my aunt is everywhere. And my aunt is the source. My aunt, Hotep, justice and peace to you. Justice and peace to you. Until the next time, Y'all take it easy. I say.